Is your mother or father a royal figure? Do you need a cool, new, exclusive headphone to listen to your cool music? Well, now introducing AirPods. As a prince or a princess, AirPods are the perfect way to show off how royal you are while reminding the peasants of something that they can't have. To get your AirPods now, call 1-800-55-HEIR. That's 1-800-555-HEIR. AirPods. Your daddy bought them for you. Isn't it crazy just how far I'll go to try to get a bid in? I mean, this one was a stupid pun. pWoCast social media links are in the description. And we're recording. We didn't miss a week this time.
Yeah, it shocks me. We're back again.
We're quote on time. I say quote because it's 7 p.m. Thursday, and I have to get this ready for noon tomorrow. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, a little post editing, but welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We got another one. I am James.
I am Derek. You can see we have the new fancy little things under us.
Yeah, the Twitter ads. That was actually new for me. I didn't know it was a thing till I logged in. This is the first time I'm bringing it up to Derek.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow,
surprised him.
Nice feature.
After the last time we recorded, I was working on this, and I was like, I'm going to try something. Hold on a sec. But you had to go for something for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
So I got it finished legitimately like 2 seconds after you left. And I was like, oh, man. And I forgot about it until I opened up StreamYard like 10 minutes ago.
Wow. Yeah, that is hysterical.
It's a good call, though. I mean, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's informative. You know,
we look professional.
Yeah.
It's like we know what we're doing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, we look professional, but in audio form. Like,
yeah.
Looking at us on camera, no.
What do you mean? We're both in our rooms. There's minimal mess. There's minimal mess.
Yeah, I got dressed up for this, you know.
Yeah, I can see it. We'll just explain to the audio listeners what you're wearing.
Yeah,
you have a 3-piece suit.
Yes.
A purple tie, a blue vest. It's actually very colorful. I'm surprised, James.
I know, yeah, and I actually was able to get Paul Butts' esteemed top hat.
Paul's top hat. Yeah, there's nothing better than Paul's top hat.
Yes, it cost a lot. You know that eBay auction was quite high amount.
Yeah, gosh. Paul's great. Go check out the Theory of Humor.
Yes.
You will find actually he's called Not Micah. You will find Not Micah on the Theory of Humor. It's a good time. Good guy. Good guys. Those two.
Yes.
The Theory of Humor.
Multiple.
We're just saying words at this point. We've run out of podcast topics despite each of our podcasts just being the same thing, basically. Which is just us rambling for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it alternates. Every podcast either turns into us rambling about our personal lives or just wrestling.
Essentially. I mean, that's what makes a good podcast. It's just talking about nothing and everything at the same time.
Yeah, just, having something happen and then come in with it.
Yeah.
Just life experiences.
Yeah, gosh. I'm always so impressed at how other people record their podcasts and how professionally they do it.
Yes.
Like yesterday, it has come out today, but Micah and I were on the View from the Top Rope podcast, which is a wrestling podcast that does like Q&As and stuff, and they talk about wrestling. It's a real great time. Go check them out, View from the Top Rope. But I was just amazed at just podcasts being prepared and having segments and sticking to a plan.
Well, it's funny. I listen to a lot of sports talk radio, when I'm back out in Central Mass. I listen to 98.5. And so it's really interesting. I listen to it a lot because it's a 4-hour show and it's
Right.
every day, you know, and every day except weekends, I should say. So 5 days a week, and you've got to fill 20 hours every week. So I always watch to sort of see how they're able to fill,
Right.
20 hours of brand new content and topics and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the way they do I segments is a great way to have consistent stuff to fill a podcast every week.
Yeah,
If you have a segment that you do every podcast and you're able to find something for that segment, that's like 10 minutes down the drain.
yeah, and a good thing I like to see is Good Mythical Morning. I
Those guys are
love
good.
Rhett and Link,
Those guys are
and I
great.
think those guys are great at delivering a fresh 15-minute video to start your day, when they're in session.
Right.
And I think there's something to be admired from just being able to take a topic and make a game out of it and
Yeah.
stretch it out for as long as they do.
I mean, I also think, and I'm not tooting our own horn by saying this, but I also think it is like a real talent to just be able to like have a conversation with your friend and then be able to post that as a podcast.
Yeah, that's
Like
true. Yeah,
those types of podcasts are always like the ones that catch my attention, like the Gus and Eddie podcast and the Tiny Meat Gang podcast. Shout out to
yeah.
those two.
I wanna find this name just because I want to be sure. I think it's Jaron Myers. Yeah, this guy is fantastic. Um, because what he did one time, he comes up with these little sketches, and it was a really popular TikTok. One
Mm,
time, he just took a sign and made a poster, and
mhm.
he got in a cat costume and called himself the Cat Daddy. And he put like little strips like, call me, like call this number, and he
Right.
set up a Google Voice like inbox, and he left like 15 posters like around the city, and then he woke up the next day and there were 200 voicemails. And so
Wow.
an episode of his podcast was just listening to some of the 200
That's
voicemails.
crazy.
And I think it's just a funny idea to have something like that, like post a silly sign and record, just the
Right.
hilarity that ensues when you get all that kind of response.
Do you remember when the last like half of each episode of Micah and I's podcast would just be us calling different people and seeing if they pick up?
Yes.
God. We listened to our first episode most recently and we call you during that episode. And we have a
Really?
conversation with you and it's interesting to think about.
That's right. I do remember that. I
Yeah.
was going to say I vaguely remember being called, but it was the first episode. I can
Yeah.
remember picking up the phone, and one of you guys was like, "Hey, it's our first podcast. You're on it."
Right. Well, and I don't know if you remember, but that was the day Kobe died.
You're right.
It was the
Oh
day Kobe
my.
died, and Micah and I found out live on air during the recording of our first episode that Kobe Bryant had died.
I
You can
do actually remember it
you
now.
can hear it
Like
if you
like
listen back to the episode. We're like talking about something, and there's a pause, and Micah goes, "Did Kobe Bryant just die?" And I said, "No, it would have been on Reddit if he did." And then I looked on Reddit, and it was there.
and everyone was just praying that it was a joke. Like all the meme accounts were making jokes, and everyone
Right,
was like, "No, no, 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 no." And
right,
I remember I told you guys I was in a practice room
right.
when I found out. I was practicing guitar. I think it was like 11:30 on the East Coast when
Yeah.
we found out, something like that. And I picked up my phone and I looked, and I saw that TMZ had reported it
Oh
first.
yeah,
That was the thing that was confusing, was that TMZ reported it,
yeah.
and for like a solid 30 minutes no one knew. Like it couldn't be confirmed by Woj or Shams or any
Right.
reputable source. So it was just 30 minutes of is he actually dead? And once it
Right.
came through, it was just, it was shocking. I
Yeah.
still kind of feel it to this day. Like literally last night, I think I was just watching some clips of Kobe. I saw like
Right.
he came back to Philadelphia because he went to high school in
Oh.
Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and his old high school point guard is now a Philadelphia media member. So
Oh,
he was
that's
like,
cool.
he sat down for an interview with Kobe. It was
Nice.
kind of cool because he was Kobe's point guard in high school.
Right.
And of course, first question is, so you've played with some really good point guards over the years. Who would you say the best point guard you ever played with was? Like, even if they were just in high school, like who would you say it would be?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I remember you said on our podcast, you said, this is something that you're going to remember where you were when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I didn't even think about it, but like, I guess for me that's true because of the just happenstance of we were recording at the time. But like hearing you talk about it was like, wow, that really is that kind of moment. Like you
Yeah.
just described vividly where you were when you found out Kobe died.
Yeah. And the whole process,
Right.
it was just one of those moments. And I think we didn't know it at the time, but I still can remember what it was like at the start of COVID,
Right.
because the thing about us, anyone at, the university we go to, is that, we went on spring break and we didn't really know if we were going to come back because they hadn't made an announcement. And I think it was that Thursday or Friday,
It
the
was a
NBA
it
had
was a
like
Thursday
suspended
night.
stuff. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a Thursday night, and so I remember we all went home not knowing what was going to happen.
Right.
And then about a weekend, once it was once the high schools or the public schools closed. Like the
Yeah.
public schools closed, and they were like, "All right, we're going to close for 2 weeks." And at that point, it was just like, "This is going to be different."
Right. And that was weird for me because when I found out that they were going to you know, delay it 2 weeks, I was in a hotel room with Joel and it was like really weird because I was supposed to be like spending like the weekend having a nice vacation and I'm over here stressed as all hell about whether or not I'm going to come back to school
Yeah.
in the spring. Uh I didn't go back to school that spring in person, or did I come back this spring?
I think it's as far as the whole like coming back thing goes, because I actually had a friend tell me that I absolutely shouldn't be coming back and that I'm selfish for coming back to school. And I was just like, I think the problem is that right now everyone really does have their own circumstances and they just really need to do what's best for them, you know
Right.
because for some people, not going to school, not coming back makes more sense, but for some, some have to come back.
Yeah, some people can't afford to like take time off of school because like scholarships expire.
Exactly.
And like I've started paying my VSAC loans. Ah, God, it's great.
Yeah.
I hate loans. Uh but yeah, like some people can't afford to take a break. So I think it's a little selfish to assume someone's situation without getting all the details or
Exactly.
understanding all the details.
And I think
Uh
this just really isn't a time to try to be creating like uniform judgment, you know?
right. Oh,
Right,
absolutely.
right now is a
Every
time for a
situation is
lot of
different.
exceptions.
Every situation is different with COVID.
Yes.
It's crazy. Some people are like fully vaccinated, like legally I'll be fully vaccinated by Saturday.
I'm getting my first dose tomorrow, so
Are you getting do you know what kind you're getting yet?
it's gonna be Pfizer. So I'm
Nice.
all right. I leaned more towards the Moderna, but it seems like Pfizer is the one that's kind of around here, which is weird considering Moderna is based in Cambridge. But
Yeah.
Pfizer's been the one around Massachusetts, so I'm just gonna get that.
I got the Johnson and Johnson 1-dose, one and done. Stick a
Really?
needle in my arm once. Had a headache the next day in the morning. Now I'm fully vaccinated in 2 days.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's I think with the vaccines coming out, like I'm truly starting to feel the end of it. And I
Yeah,
feel like it's weird to say because I know COVID cases have also been like spiking as of recently, but it feels like we're getting towards the end goal
yeah,
of people being vaccinated and able to do stuff.
and and not to scare you again, but um, you know, I think let's see, let's remember which episode this is because I'm gonna throw something out there and it's probably not gonna happen, but it might. The variants, the variant. Um, right now Brazil is in just
Oh yeah.
total, chaos.
Mm-hmm.
They're being completely ravaged. Their variant is way more contagious than the U.S. kind, the one that mainly was part of the first couple waves.
Right.
But the other problem is that I was just watching the news tonight. Apparently, Brazil has found a second variant. So, like, you hear all that talk
Jesus
about the
Christ.
Brazilian variant. They just found a new one like this week.
Brazilian variant 2 just dropped.
Yeah. And so, while I think, we're probably going to be like vaccinated in America by the end of the summer, most likely, I worry that it won't be a variant from America, but it'll be a variant from a different part of the world where they weren't able to get everyone vaccinated in time. I worry that a variant from there could come over and start this whole process over.
Well, the thing with the variants is we have to figure out if the vaccine works against the variants too.
Yeah,
Sometimes it doesn't. That's why we get a flu shot every year because the
yeah,
different variants of the flu. But it seems like with COVID, like the variants have been also like not able to get through the vaccine, which has been a good thing.
yeah. They haven't been able to get through it completely,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah. So hopefully, I'm gonna still say that I feel hope.
Yeah, I do too, though.
I
Like
think
that's a small,
I
voice.
yeah. I think part of it is that WrestleMania is next week, so I'm getting the sort of excitement of fans because fans are going to be back at WrestleMania. There's going to be like 25,000 fans each night, which is
That's
crazy to think about. But it's going to be spaced out like the Super Bowl was, and like I'm pretty sure the CDC deemed that the Super Bowl itself wasn't a super spreader.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
worried it would be. I think, Easter is going to be interesting.
Easter's going to be a shit show.
Yeah,
There's going to be a spike in cases, and
Spe-
you
especially
know,
South. I
yeah,
guess.
the anti-vaxxers are going to see like, see, the vaccine doesn't work.
Well, I don't get that. You've got all these people saying, President Biden's trying to tell us who we can, spend the 4th of July with. It's like, look, you're free to do what you want, but I don't get how you can see all the evidence and still just, not worry about getting this.
Yeah,
You know,
it's stupidity.
yeah. Penn Jillette had a really good view on it. I was watching a video of his, and I forget exactly what he said, but it's about just informed decision making, and at this point you can't feign that you didn't know. Oh, we didn't know. No one knew. Yeah, you could get
We
away
knew.
with that like the first couple months, but
First
you
couple
know,
weeks, maybe.
yeah, the first couple of weeks, but like after a while, once you've seen it, that's
Right.
the thing, the phrase "see it to believe it." Like we've seen so
Yeah.
much death.
We believe it.
Yeah, we
No,
should believe it.
nobody else needs to die for us to believe it. It's fine. COVID.
Exactly.
You mentioned Penn Jillette, and that just got me thinking about there is a staggering amount of similarities between Penn Jillette and John Taffer, the bar rescue guy.
I don't know John Taffer very well, if I'm being
Uh,
honest. Let me look up what he looks like. Let me
I
see.
know we talked about Bar Rescue the last podcast, I think.
Oh
Uh,
yes, we did. We did. Okay.
but there's a staggering amount of similarities between the two. They both sort of have a similar facial
Mhm.
structure. They sound similar. They yell a lot, and their like quiet voice somehow still feels like yelling.
And it
Wow.
was funny because I was watching a lot of videos on Penn last night because I like how he thinks about certain things, but also too um I like watching his take on Trump because he's someone I think that he gives everyone a fair shot. Because Penn will come out and say that out of everyone that had ever been on the Celebrity Apprentice, he probably liked Donald Trump the most out of anyone that had been on the Celebrity Apprentice, and he did not want him to be president. And he liked this man the most because
Yikes.
what he said was what Penn said he has like just a fascination with how Donald Trump became to be this figure.
This
And
monster.
he said what most people don't understand is that you know you know how in the Celebrity Apprentice they do all these challenges and then the boardroom meeting at the end is only like 10 minutes. In all actuality, that's like 2 hours that they're having to sit there. And the problem with Celebrity Apprentice is that you can't put your hands on the table
Mhm.
because the table is myrrh. It'll stain if you put your
Oh,
hands on the table. So
Jesus Christ.
you can't put your hands on the table, and you also can't lean to the side or lean this way because they got a camera here that's going to Trump
Oh,
and another camera here, so you can't lean, you can't do that, you can't put your hands up, so you just kind of have to have your hands at
you
your
have to be like,
side, and you have to sit up straight, and you have to sit up straight because you're at a table, and you got to do this for 2 hours every other day.
I'd
And
I'd be sitting there going, boom, 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 boom.
and and so they asked him, they're like, well, what's like part of the 2 hours we don't see, like that Trump's like, and Pence like, a lot of time it would just be him, talking about what someone said about him, like
Of course it is.
he'd be like, Trump would be, it's, and this is like 2010, like the early days of Twitter. He'd be like, Trump's sitting there in his chair, and he just goes, well, this guy says I didn't get enough on my real estate sale, but let me tell you, I bought it for 3 million and I sold it for 4. That's a profit, right? That's a profit. and
Jesus
and
Christ.
Penn's just like, it's a profit, but like, what do you mean? Where did you hear this? And Trump's like, well, someone said it. And Penn's like, but like who? Trump's like, well, this guy right here. He said I didn't get enough on my, my property. And it's like, and so this is the kind of information we'd have to hear and
Right.
just validate. That's a
Jesus
profit.
Christ. Jesus Christ. You know what else lasts forever? That's edited down to like 10 minutes is the tribal councils at the end of Survivor.
Really?
They film those things for hours. Those things can take up to like 3 to 4 hours to film because it's just Jeff asking random probing questions to try to get good TV out of them. And then they got to spend the time to like get the production set up. So, okay, everyone go vote. And then Jeff has to count the votes and then rearrange the votes so that it's the most dramatic it can be when the
Oh,
votes are read out loud,
yep.
of course. Then
And
you
it's
got to
gonna
set up the
come down to like
whole,
2 people.
yeah, you're going to read the whole thing. Sometimes they get really creative with how they blindside you with
Yes.
votes because they'll be like, one vote this person, like one vote Jack, one vote James, one vote Jack, one vote Jared. 2 votes, Jared. 3 votes, Jared. 4 votes, Jared. Jared, you've
Yeah.
been voted off the island. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from?
they they will just like save the majority for the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
They make it as dramatic as possible. And sometimes it's like It's so good. It's Survivor is one of those shows. I'm gonna be talking about it within the next several months on my YouTube channel. But Survivor is just one of the best reality TV shows.
Yeah, Survivor is weird where I grow up. Not weird, but it was a good show. But someone from 2 towns over from us, there was a woman that lived, maybe 15 minutes down the road, that was on Survivor, and she finished, I think, like in the top 5. Like she
Ooh.
made it pretty far.
Do you
And
know
she,
her name off the top of your head?
it was Denise. Denise was her name. Let me look her up.
Denise? Oh. There's
Yes.
two Denises it could be. Survivor China?
No, Denise Martin. That's right. Yeah, look up Denise Martin.
Denise, which one's Denise Martin? Love Survivor. Yeah, Survivor China. I'm watching that season right now. It's
Really?
the season I'm on. Yeah. Oh, she's great. Denise is awesome.
Yeah, Denise is cool.
She's one of my favorites because they're all trying to play the game, and Denise is like, "Can't we just like get along? Like, we got to do some stuff, man. Like, let's go work on this."
Yeah, so Denise is from like my area. Like I would see her all the time at Walmart, just
That's
like
crazy.
around the store, and for a while, people would recognize her, but like after 5 years, no one's gonna remember.
Right.
And I would still remember, in the back of my head, I'm like, I know who you are.
Like, you were on Survivor.
Yeah. And it's funny because I actually I took karate at the same place she did for a little bit.
That's cool. There's a whole part of the show that's her talking about karate.
Yeah. So really?
Yeah. Wow. They go on a rewards challenge, and one of the parts of the rewards challenge is a kung fu demonstration because it's Survivor China, so they have like traditional Chinese fighting styles and stuff. So, and Denise got to go on that, and she was like marking out for it. She was like, "I'm so excited! Kung Fu's a big, or not Kung Fu, but like karate's a big part of my life," and it was cool to watch.
Yeah, I am curious if her school is still open. It says she opened her own karate school.
Really?
And I don't think that's right. Yeah, I think it's not a thing anymore. I'm looking at it.
She would be a great person to be on Survivor again.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. She was cool, but the whole situation at the end was kind of weird because as she was leaving, she was saying that she, lost her job, but the school superintendent said she lied. And that's the superintendent from like 2 towns over, so obviously we're going to hear about it.
Right.
And what did the school superintendent? The school superintendent says, "Yeah, I watched my own jaw drop when she said that because it's absolutely not true."
Oh no.
And she said that not only did Denise like not lose her job, she received a promotion.
That's funny.
And so when they would, look to see if she still had the title, she probably didn't,
right,
because she has a different title now.
That's hilarious. That's like the Survivor scoop right there that I'm sure doesn't exist anywhere else. We just got a big scoop from our own James, who lives 2 towns over from Denise Martin, top 4 of Survivor China.
Yeah, that's the thing that no one really knows, but that happened like 2 towns over. So I'm gonna see how many times I can keep fitting in 2 towns over. See what happens.
That's like me. Every time I'm on a different person's wrestling podcast that isn't my own, I try to mention Rico at least once.
I was gonna say, I feel like Scott Steiner. Why do I feel like he'd be sitting there going, 2 towns over?
2 towns over. There's a fat ass over there.
That's what I'm thinking. So you walk your fat asses down 2 towns over.
James, have you ever watched you probably haven't, Ring Ka-King?
No, not at all.
So Ring Ka-King was a program over in India that was run by Impact.
Oh
It
my.
was its own standalone TV show for wrestling in India on like their big television station. So it was run by TNA, and
Oh, this looks awful.
they they brought several of their guys over to be a part of it, and one of those guys was Scott Steiner. And Scott Steiner did this gimmick, and you need to watch a video because it's great, where Scott Steiner would charge the crowd every time he went out to the ring. I mean, like, he would run into the crowd and you'd watch the entire crowd disperse every single time he goes into the ring.
There's a 26-second video that I'm seeing right now. It's got 150,000 views.
Press the share screen. We'll watch it together.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Podcast.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
Have I given you permission to share the screen?
Yes. All right, here we go.
Yes. This is so great.
Oh my God！ 你屌的，你就必须拉起牛了。Scott Steiner 讲到我的嘿，
So awesome. It's so cool. He does this every time. Every single time he goes to the ring, he does that. That's crazy. Isn't that absurd? That's amazing television.
That is fantastic. Now that's the opposite of a dead crowd. Like, can you? I'm trying to imagine like the worst way Vince would try to implement something like that.
Oh, it would probably be with someone who like doesn't deserve it,
exactly,
like Jackson Riker, or like
Roman.
No, not even, just like someone who like is a bad person in real life. Like Brodus Clay, or
oh my God, he would have it be Brodus Clay.
Yeah. He's back now.
Like, what do you think the deadest wrestling city is? Like, just
it's Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yes.
You ever watch the show from Corpus Christi? They don't make a noise for anyone.
Yes, that's right. Literally, you have Brodus Clay running through the audience.
They're just sitting there like.
They're sitting there. You don't scare me. Oh my God! Why do I remember? Oh God! This is a cursed skit. This is a cursed sketch from Raw. It's like 2012. Because wasn't Brodus Clay like Funkasaurus Rex? Like all that.
He was the Funkasaurus. Yes.
It was him, and it was Albert as Lord Tensai.
Yep. Was this before Tensai fully turned into Sweet Tea?
Yes. Sweet Tea.
Yeah, they were a tag team. They were tons of funk, and it was Brodus Clay and Sweet Tea, Lord Tensai.
I never knew that. Oh my God! Did that dude come out like in the Tensai gear?
He can't. No. He essentially came out in Brian Christopher's gear when he was in Too Cool, but obviously much larger. He had like the bucket hat and the sunglasses.
Not exactly Grandmaster Sexay.
No, definitely grand, but I don't know about the Master Sex.
Well, it's just crazy to think that like he went from being like A-Train to being Lord Tensai like in a dress.
God, it was terrible because like Albert was great. Albert was great as Albert. He was great as A-Train. He was great over in Japan as Giant Bernard, where he got like his big push. And then he comes back from Japan and WWE's like, they won't remember who this guy is. Let's throw some lettering across his face and let's call him Tensai. No one will notice that it's A-Train. No one will chant shave your back after we debut this guy. And they tried to push him like as a main eventer.
Lord Tensai, the idea of Lord Tensai fighting for the top title. Sickens me.
I remember Lord Tensai wrestled. I remember there was a main event in 2012. I only remember this. It was Lord Tensai and somebody else, but they were wrestling against John Cena and Sin Cara. Back when like Sin Cara debuting was like a big deal also. Because I don't know if you know this, but Sin Cara was like Triple H's first pet project for like bringing
Really?
someone into the company. Yeah.
Okay.
That was Triple H's first like attempt at like, let's try to get someone over. Not Triple H's NXT, which is everyone's over there.
Exactly.
Except, yeah, gosh.
I think once Vince goes and Triple H steps in, I am really interested to see how the product changes.
Nothing is going to get better until they take Bruce Pritchard off of the writing team.
Really?
I think Pritchard. I think if you look at all of the bad stuff that's happened in WWE, you see a common denominator, and that common denominator is Bruce Pritchard.
I think they'd just be better off leaving it to Heyman.
Leave it to Heyman and like Daniel Bryan and Edge.
Leave it to Heyman and not Eric Bischoff.
Because I don't know if you know, but Daniel Bryan and Edge are like on the writing teams now.
Really?
And you can always tell what stuff sort of has their like pizzazz on it. Usually it's because it's the stuff they're doing, and it feels better than the rest of the show. Like the whole like triple threat story over on SmackDown just feels better than the rest of like wrestling.
I see what's going on right now.
So at Fastlane, Roman Reigns took on Daniel Bryan for the Universal title. Roman Reigns is the champion, Daniel Bryan going for it, and Edge was the special guest enforcer. Well, as you could assume with a Roman Reigns match in 2020, tons of nonsense ensues at the end. Jey Uso comes in and super kicks Edge at one point because Roman's like close to tapping out and Edge is the special enforcer. So Jey Uso super kicks Edge. And then at some point while both of the refs are out, Roman taps very lightly. This is the first time Roman Reigns has ever tapped out in his career.
Wow.
And it didn't cause the match to end. Of course, Roman retains after more stuff ensues. Edge in the middle of the match hits Daniel Bryan and Roman with the chair. And then Daniel Bryan on the SmackDown asked to be a part of the match. And Adam Pearce said, sure. So now it's a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me want to watch like all the promos because I can just imagine like the filler stuff before. It's fantastic.
I mean, watch wrestling next week. Watch WWE. It's some form of WWE is on every day this coming week. Monday is Raw. Tuesday is Hall of Fame. Wednesday is the first night of TakeOver. Thursday is the second night of TakeOver. Friday is SmackDown. Saturday is the first night of Mania. And Sunday is the second night of Mania.
That's 2 nights of Mania. That's right.
So Saturday's the first night. Sunday's the second night of WrestleMania. Raw's on the next Monday. The first edition of Tuesday NXT is on that Tuesday.
I love the idea of like the Raw after Mania is always a watch, you know?
Oh, absolutely. It sucks that there's not going to be like the Raw after Mania crowd at the Raw after Mania, but maybe the Thunderdome will do it justice because we didn't have the Thunderdome the last time.
I was going to say, is WrestleMania at the Thunderdome?
No, WrestleMania is just because there's going to be live fans there, so they don't need the Thunderdome.
That's right. Okay.
I am going to miss the Thunderdome, though, because they get opportunities to do cool editing stuff that they don't usually get a chance to do. Like, The Fiend could never do what he's doing now.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Thunderdome.
Any of that. But I'm just when it comes to like production, I think the one that always stands out to me was NWO. You know, like they were really the first to revolutionize what we think of like as wrestling in the modern day. Just every time they came out, you saw the screen go black and white and have that shutter effect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it was different from everything else before it.
Right.
And I think that's just so cool having stuff like that. Like I wish the WWE would do more camera tricks like that. Like I don't know if you remember, I think they used to do the same thing when the Wyatt family used to come out. I think they used to do like the slow motion, like strobe light thing.
They do not for Wyatt, but they've done like different camera tricks and stuff. I mean, they have a camera angle that they use for, like, they used it for Sanity and Retribution. That was just really bad because it was like sideways and zooming in and out really fast. And
Oof.
but I do have to say, in terms of like intros and editing and stuff, Bobby Lashley, since he's won the WWE Championship, has had an intro added right to before his entrance, and it's just clips of Bobby Lashley like hurting people, but there's a gold filter on it, and there's like a gold background, and there's like lightning coming out, and lightning hits the stage, and Bobby comes out, and he's the WWE champion. And
wow, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to give this a watch. This sounds great.
Yeah, go watch Raw on Hulu after this, because it'll be up on Hulu. Yeah,
okay.
That's actually the reason that it can't be up next day on Peacock. It's because they have the Hulu deal still. They have to let Hulu have it for like 30 days before they can put it on the network.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, network on Peacock do you have to pay for it?
You have to have Peacock.
Okay, and I thought Peacock was free with ads.
No. Peacock is free if you hold on. There's Peacock tiers. Hold on.
Let me see.
Those are the tiers of Peacock. I think there's a free tier, but you don't get the network with the free tier.
Okay.
I do know there's a tier that's $4.99, which is everything with ads. And then there's $9.99, which is everything without ads.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you have Xfinity, you can get Peacock.
Okay.
So I'm wondering for you if you're able to do that through Xfinity on campus.
I am curious, yeah.
Because that would be a poggers move, as the kids say.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I was just saying, you gonna have access to Mania?
Am I? Yeah. Because we have Xfinity at home, so I can.
Okay.
So we just Peacock it up.
We have Xfinity at home. Mom, we have Xfinity.
The Xfinity at home. Yeah, no, but it'll be fun. Joel's gonna be here for the first night of WrestleMania, and I'm really excited.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see the latest no, me and Joel recorded an episode of the game show with Micah.
Yes, I know that.
You know the result.
I do know the result. I don't know if I can say it yet because
no, you can't because
I can't.
It hasn't been aired, but
it hasn't been aired now.
I will say, go check out that episode, but it was pretty crazy to film.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. I've heard some stuff from Micah, and I'm interested because now I need to watch it to actually know what's going on.
Yeah, the dynamic was really funny because, like, you know, Joel has sort of been like the proponent of the James is the bottom movement.
Yeah,
and that was the first time I'd seen them like on camera, like since the pandemic.
Oh.
So a lot of it was me just kind of in the back of my head being like, so you're the one.
So this is the perpetrator, I see.
I've been waiting long.
They'll get
but it was a bless.
Oh yeah.
There was one section where I will spoil this moment because this moment was really funny. There's one moment during one of the rounds where we have to take 2 items and he mashes something with them.
Mhm.
And for 2 questions in a row, me and Joel had like 1 item each, and we couldn't get the
Oh,
second one.
that's good.
It was so funny because after the second one, I was just like, we should just like play as a duo next time. Like us as a team would probably beat Ben and A.
Well, I mean, Joel's in the pWo officially.
So that's fantastic.
We need to.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna ask them to be on the thing that I have been ignoring because I haven't found a fourth person for.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Because they play D&D on a regular basis, so that'll be like a fun sort of similar thing.
Yes. I don't think my person ever got back to me on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it happens, but I'm
Yeah.
still down. We came up with something pretty good for that. I still have it
Oh
saved
yeah,
somewhere.
your character is fantastic. I'm so excited.
I need to look for some sugar, man.
All right. Well, on that, we will end our episode of the pWoCast. As always, our social media links are in the bio. Our Twitters are below us right here. See? Look, I did something. You can see our Twitters right there. You've been looking at it the whole time and going, man, I can't wait to follow them on Twitter. See, I know what you're thinking, audience. Ching. Anyway, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.